eyes when you're watching Zack Snyder's Justice League because it's just that good and engaging. But at the end of the day, it's still a 4-hour movie, which is a considerable achievement and challenge to viewers. And I'm curious, how many times have you watched it so far? I know a number of you have got some pretty darn good view counts already. So I'd love to hear your view counts down below. I'm going to watch it again tomorrow. I can't wait. I feel like I've already watched it twice because covering it, I've gone over it so many times, but I'm just going to sit down and enjoy it like, as a movie tomorrow. And I just can't wait. Now, as you share your view counts down below, I'd also love to hear your top 5 scenes in the movie as I share mine right now. All right, so number 5, Batman and Joker. Now, the reason this is number 5 is because it's a very short scene. But also, come on, all these scenes are top notch if they make the top 5 in a 4-hour movie. That's a lot of scenes. I wonder if we'll all have the same 5 scenes though, because these are just so good. I'm really curious to see what you guys come up with. All right, so anyway, what I love about this scene is that it's not just Joker calling out Batman for asking everyone else to make the ultimate sacrifice. Hilarious. Good joke, Joker. It's funny because it's true. But it's I didn't even think about that until right now, it's a joke technically. That's fantastic. But it instantly becomes a classic Batman and Joker moment. One of those moments where their battle fades away and they connect as peers, which is weird. It's so jarring whenever it happens, because obviously Batman's a good guy and Joker is a horrible villain and a mass murderer. But what's Batman doing? He's also dressing up. He lets Joker constantly kind of go. I think it's really interesting to show that they are a kind of a yin and yang situation. And it's drawn from the comics. And considering Zack Snyder's very strong knowledge of the source material, I wouldn't be surprised if the end great moment in The Killing Joke was part of the inspiration for this scene. It's phenomenal. We also have great lines like, "How about a truce, Bruce?" And the rule that when Batman wants to settle the score, all he has to do is tear up that card to end the truce. How fantastic a cinematic moment would that be? And it just shows how talented Zack Snyder is, that he is laying the groundwork for what would be a pivotal, visual, cinematic moment down the line. Not a single word has to be said. All Batman has to do is tear that card up, and you see it land on the floor, and Joker knows what it means. They both know what it means. I love it! So good. Behind the scenes, the Snyder Cut is also about redemption. The movie is about self-sacrifice, but the bringing back the Snyder Cut is about redemption. And part of that is Ben Affleck and Jared Leto, who get redemption here as these characters that I think many of us knew that they really were very good as, and they get to show that here. Number 4, the power of Cyborg. You want cinematic moments? This scene has cinematic moment after cinematic moment. It's fascinating. We're in as awe of Cyborg's new powers as he is, because this has never been even done in the comics before. Dr. Silas Stone explains that Cyborg doesn't quite understand the power that he now has. Victor has only seen it as a curse, while his father, the cold man of science that he is, who realizes that maybe he's been too cold, well, he uses his cold analytical skills as a strength to show his son his new strengths. I think that's just fantastic. And in just a few minutes, the character of Cyborg, as I said, is forever transformed into a character worthy of graduating from the Teen Titans or the Titans to the Justice League. And he becomes a living part of the system who can make that system better for the people who it has too long oppressed. And the whole time, every point is amazingly illustrated with top-notch VFX and cinematic choices, including Cyborg even walking away in the street wearing a hoodie where passers-by make the dangerous assumption that he's dangerous with absolutely no evidence. I mean, that's just so powerful. The scene works on so many levels. It's fantastic. All right, number 3, the Wonder Woman hostage scene. Again, what a difference a filmmaker makes. Here we see Diana's raw power and warrior attitude on full display. And it's probably the first ever true action scene the character has ever gotten in any medium. I know, that's a big statement. Allow me to explain. So think about it. We know what the classic Batman and Superman versus common criminal scene looks like, right? How they arrive on the scene, how they use all the tools that they have, their powers, and how it's usually resolved. In Gotham, in Metropolis. But here, finally, the third member of the DC Trinity gets her own definitive action sequence. And I love that it's in London or just, in Europe in general. So she's in a real European city. I think for Diana, it could be any one. And it highlights all of her abilities and her sensibilities. It sets the template for the iconic and classic Diana versus a common criminal situation. Not one of their rogues gallery is what I mean. The all-girls school class trip is a great touch, a nod to Themyscira, because Wonder Woman is a feminist icon, and she should never lose that in her stories. And next, I'd really love to see Warner Brothers introduce her other biggest fan group, the LGBTQ community, into her stories as well. They almost did in the last movie, but unfortunately, because we saw them filming elements of that with the AIDS crisis in 1984, but unfortunately they didn't do it. I hope that they address that going forward with Wonder Woman 3 and the upcoming Amazon movie, or I think it's still a movie or TV show, they're still not sure. I'd really love to see that the LGBT community brought in, because they have been, I think, perhaps Wonder Woman's champion the most. And so to leave them out is, I think, pretty bad. All right, so number 2. Amazons versus Steppenwolf. Now, Wonder Woman might be the most powerful Amazon, thanks to being a demigod. And by the way, side note, that's a really great explanation as to why she's the most powerful Amazon. I like this change in her origin. And I liked in Wonder Woman 1984 that she made the plane invisible. I thought it worked. But anyway, who doesn't watch the gods go up against baby Darkseid in that sequence here in this movie and think that blood runs through Diana? Steppenwolf is thinking it. He says it in this movie too. But all the Amazons together, well, they are a mighty force as well, which we see here. And at a time when women's contribution to the military is being callously and insultingly questioned, this scene shows that women can be warriors as well, an all-female 300, as I've been saying. Some of you pointed out that Joss Whedon did keep the part about sealing the vault, but he never destroyed the vault, and that made it seem like the Amazons were simply trying to lock Steppenwolf inside and capture him. Here, though, instead, they go down with the vault. They make the ultimate sacrifice by going down with him in the hopes of taking him out. Steppenwolf survives, unfortunately, but those other Amazons do not, and they are killed throughout the battle. Not just when the vault goes down, but all the way down to that Amazon being crushed by the horse, and Hippolyta holding her hand as she goes, feeling powerless. I mean, it's an incredibly amazing sequence. It's really good, the whole thing. And the self-sacrifice throughout, I think, reminds the world that women recognize the importance of a greater cause just as men do. I think that's just phenomenal. And also, speaking of Hippolyta, she's also really well represented here. She's not just a queen, but a general who fights alongside her soldiers. Diana would be proud because remember, in Wonder Woman, the 2017 movie, she called those generals out for sitting on the sidelines as they sent their soldiers into battle. So you see how well this all works? It's so great. All right, number 1, breaking into Star Labs and resurrecting Superman. It's one scene. I know it's very long, but I'm counting it as one scene. And it's my absolute favorite because it's a true Justice League adventure. In the first one we've ever seen in a movie, basically. And, because, the other one, the Justice League doesn't count. So that's just really cool. I mean, you have the 5, even and eventually 6 team members working together for the first time in a multi-staged plan. And it's not a big brawl, just a big brawl like the third act has. And, those are fun too. Everybody again is focusing on that moment where they freeze frame for just like a second going up against Steppenwolf and the Parademons. But this really to me felt like watching an episode of the animated Justice League series. And it basically, I think, does run about half an hour, that whole scene. From sneaking in thanks to Cyborg, changing security logs and starting an alarm just thinking it. That's so cool. To those incredible moments with his father, to then getting ready to resurrect Superman, the warnings from the ship, Cyborg's vision, and then dealing with a Lazarus Pity Superman, right? Who needs to be snapped out of it. Every single member of the team contributes here, both with their powers and their personalities. I think the personality thing is really important and what makes the scene so much fun. Even Superman, highlighting that he is set apart from the group thanks to really being basically a god. Remember, again, Wonder Woman is a demigod. She's close to Superman, but not as powerful. If the Snyderverse continues, I would love this to be the moment that inspires Batman, the scene, to come up with his hidden protocols from the Tower of Babel storyline in the comics on how to take down each member of the Justice League if he ever needed to. And then, of course, best laid plans and all that, the protocols are stolen and used against the League by Ra's al Ghul. That's a great comic, and it would be wonderful to see it adapted. Because Justice League stories are awesome, as we can see. So those are my top 5 scenes in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I can't wait to hear yours down below. Share them, share your thoughts about mine, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.